Should we pretend there's music on? Do, that whole thing?
Yeah, totally. There's music on, coming in.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Hanukkah Erotica Book Club, where Malya and I read and review Hanukkah romance books, of which there are many. We'll also be doing the occasional movie. I am Raizel, and I'm here with Malya.
Hello.
A few weeks ago, while tucking in my little one, I was looking for a book to read, and I was looking through the Libby app, and all of a sudden, I got served 4 Hanukkah romance books, and my first reaction was, oh my God, I need to write one of these, which quickly pivoted to, actually, I need to read all of these. And I started to read them and post them to my Instagram stories. My friends and family were pretty into it, Malya being one of them. Yep. And here we are today doing this book club together.
It's a juggernaut. It was unstoppable.
It was.
Yeah.
Malya, do you want to tell our listeners about you?
Sure. Well, I am, among other things, Raizel's stepsister, and I was one of the said consumers of her Instagram stories, and I would not consider myself really a fan or knowledgeable about the romance genre generally, and so was a skeptic, as I am about most things, regarding the genre, but I found myself pulled in both by Rachel's charming commentary as well as the stories themselves, and sent her a DM just expressing my general enthusiasm for her coverage of the topic and turning me on to the issue. And then when she proposed bringing me onto the podcast, I was flattered and excited, and here we are.
Here we are. So, Mal, we have now released our first episode. It's out there.
It's in the world.
How would you say the reaction's been? I have a lot of thoughts on how the reaction's been. It's been very positive from my perspective. What do you think?
I can't believe it, actually, because I was sort of like, when you first asked me to do it, I'll be honest, I was like, this will just be a fun way to hang out with Raizel, have fun and just chat and, sure, whatever, Hanukkah, schmanukkah. But the truth is, I feel like we're filling a niche that people have been desperate to have filled.
I feel the same way. It's really kind of amazing. Saturday night, when it was first out there in the world, Mitch and I went out, and our parents, like Malya said, we're stepsisters. Our parents are married. Our parents came over to babysit, and I was like, oh, you have to listen. The podcast is out. So I, set it up for them. It's the whole thing. And we went out, and all of a sudden, I started getting a flurry of text messages, which made me think, oh shit, the kids woke up. But no, it was my mom. And this is what she said. Loving your podcast. OMG. Quote, Orthodox adjacent. Plots time. Next text. Tuna packets. And then I say, I'm so glad you liked it. And she goes, love. We want more. So that was that. But then, Malya, when I got home, I'm not kidding, I've never seen your dad with like such a shit-eating grin on his face. Like I've never seen him laugh like that. Like I've just never seen him. I know. Like I've never seen him laugh like that. Like he was so happy. He had the hugest smile from it. It was awesome. He loved Orthodox adjacent, and 9x13 pans really got them. Like
I think that they were. I think it must have been the same night, because at first they also sent like an initial text, which was already, I was like, you're up at 11 p.m. I thought they were like long asleep by then, but I didn't realize they were babysitting for you. That makes sense. But then they were like live tweeting the podcast to me, like as they were listening to it in real time. Like they were like, Cholent pot.
To me too.
They kept coming. And then my dad, like 3 days later, was like, we haven't stopped talking about it.
I'm so happy. It's so great to have such fans. Here are some other good ones. Our friend Jonathan said, my new fave podcast. I am a super fan. My friend Adriana really liked our silence. She said, the silence speaks volumes. This is so damn funny. And I too have no memory of how I did laundry on the Upper West Side in my 20s.
There you go.
So it's been pretty good. A couple of notes. The author I mentioned, Russ's sister, her name's Stacey Agdern, not Sarah. I wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Also, Jamie, a listener and friend of the pod, said Suits was on USA, not FX.
Ah, critical. Thank you, Jamie.
Wanted to make that note. Thank you to Jamie.
Keeping us honest.
Keeping us honest. Which, that's actually that checks out.
Sure.
So I wanted to mention that. And yeah, I'm so psyched to be here. What are we doing for episode 2?
I will say one other potential listener did say she was very stoked about this, but then the fact that it was Apple Podcast, she was like, "Oh no, my Android. What do I do?" And I was like, wish for a Hanukkah miracle. That was my attempt at like a cute social media
this
post.
happens. Yeah, someone DM'd the Hanukkah Erotica Instagram handle and asked if it could be, someone I don't know asked if we can put it elsewhere. And Bianca also has a Google phone. So I do think the Hanukkah miracle would be asking William to help us get it on Spotify. We may have to do that. We may have to, not top priority, but, we do have some people out there who are trying to access this. So maybe we'll figure out Spotify or something else. But
William's a miracle maker in my experience. So.
Okay, good. Okay, so what are we doing today?
Today we're discussing we're continuing our KK Hendin streak, which I'm very excited about, with a short, would you call it a novella?
I would call it a novella. Is a novella only a romance word? It's very big in the romance world. It's like a short story.
I don't think so. I think
it's everywhere.
I think it's just a type of writing.
Yes, a short story. So
yes.
It's a KK Hendin novella that's in an anthology called Burning Bright with 4 Hanukkah novellas. We're focusing on the KK Hendin one. Listen, our listeners really loved all the I'll Be Home for Hanukkah with the KK Hendin book. Like, people were really into that. So, and we were too. So we're continuing with KK Hendin's short story in Burning Bright called All I Got.
Is that what it was called?
Here's a description. All Tamar expected from her Israel vacation was time to hang out with one of her besties and to act like a tourist, cheesy t-shirt and all, in her 2 favorite cities. She definitely was not expecting to fall for Avi, a handsome soldier who's more than she ever dreamed. This is niche on niche.
It really is.
KK Hendin is not just taking us through her world of Upper West Side 20-something singles. This is a very specific time in someone's life. First, Malya, tell us, what is the seminary year all about? I'm aware that this isn't the seminary year, but first, I think our listeners need to know what that is about before we could talk about the Hanukkah once you're already back in New York and come back to Israel, what that's about. So what's the seminary year all about?
Sure. First of all, KK Hendin is like narrating my life so far. So like I'm every reference, like I'm there every step of the way. I don't know who the hell else is there, but I'm there.
A handful of people.
I guess so, including her, I imagine, because you had to have lived this. It's like too niche to talk about otherwise, I think.
Completely. For sure.
Yeah, so anyway, basically in the frum Jewish world, if you're a girl and you are in like a religious high school, often you're doing a gap year before you start college, and that gap year is going to be done at a all-women's yeshiva in Israel.
Called a seminary.
They call them seminaries, but basically they're women's 1-year yeshivot, and it's all for like 17 and 8-year-old girls fresh out of high school. They're all living together, and they're like learning Torah. They're having like what everyone else would have, like as a first year away from home, but instead of it being like at a co-ed college dorm, it's at like an all-women's dorm in Jerusalem.
Right. So then that's the seminary year. Now, I've heard a lot about people's seminary years. I've also heard that often after you're back in the States for college, that first winter break, people go back to Israel. Talia once described this to me as like basically just like eating giant salads and pasta slathered in cream sauce in and out of Emek Rephaim cafes, wreaking havoc.
Talia was always very into the pasta slathered in cream sauce in Israel. I had a couple of those meals with her, but so that might be a highly specific. But
did
yes.
you go back? Did you go back to Israel?
Went back for a month, all of winter break.
You did.
Yeah. Wait, what's her the main character? Is Sarah?
Tamar.
No, Tamar. Thank you. I really walked in Tamar's shoes, like exactly what she did. I mean, I didn't stay in Hebron. That's like a whole other thing. They really managed. A thing that's admirable about KK is like she really skirts the political element of this. Like staying in someone's apartment. She acts like staying in an apartment in Hebron is like just like staying in any old like Airbnb, whereas like Hebron is like a locked down like.
Hebron in the West Bank. Like, when she was like, best vacation ever. Her friend Riva, by the way, is that Riva from Apartment 5G? I'm assuming it's the same Riva.
Oh.
Riva is like,
right,
you know, WhatsApping her.
Character.
I'm so jealous. Hebron, I'm so jealous. I'm sorry. My memories of Hebron are like,
they're like
first
a bunker.
Of all,
it's like a bunker.
Political turmoil. Me
Yes.
dripping with sweat. Maybe visiting like graves. Are patriarchs' graves there?
They sure are. She goes there. That's her first stop, I think.
Checkpoints.
Yeah. There's a lot of, there's soldiers, hence the...
Yes. Just like sweat, political turmoil, and just, it's in the West Bank.
It's like in the heart of the West Bank. Like I don't even know how... There's like a handful of people who live there, and really it's like they live in a bunker. The whole idea of the taxi just like dropping you casually off at like a vacant apartment in Hebron doesn't ring so true to me. So I feel like most of the time what you do, this is what I did, is you go back and you stay in the dorm of the seminary where you were for the year. And they like rent you a month of your old dorm room back, basically.
Right, which couldn't really work in the story because then maybe she wouldn't meet the sexy Chayal, which we'll get to.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm happy you brought up Hebron because I wanted to bring that up too. And by the way, Malya and I have spent time in Israel together. We spent a summer living in Israel together.
We did.
We went to Palestine together on a trip for woke liberal Jews where we spent a couple days. I don't remember how long, but a bunch of days there.
We spent the night in Palestinian homes.
Yes.
Yeah, we did all that.
So anyway, okay, Hebron. I was
we
very
have
confused by that.
We have the gravitas to make these statements. Is the point I think here? We've lived it.
I do think that's the point. I do think that's the point.
Yes.
Now I want to ask you this. So, first page of the book, KK is like, you know, talking about Tamar. Tamar's like, I landed, tears fill my eyes. Malya, have you been overcome with emotion in Israel to the point of crying?
Yes, definitely. Not when the plane lands. And then, I mean, that's like, I guess that's like the typical tourist thing. Oh my God, yes! I have a great story for this actually. So, okay, actually I was staying when our parents lived in Great Neck about like 7 years ago. We were staying there. It was right after my son was born, and I don't remember why. We were sleeping at their house for a week for some reason. Anyway, all of a sudden, I start getting a million messages on Facebook. Is this you? Is this you? Is this you? There was some Jewish blog post about like, are Orthodox women becoming rabbis? ? And there was like a stock photo of like a young seminary girl rapturously praying at the Western Wall with like her eyes squeezed shut, looking like she's about to cry. And it's me. I'm a stock photo. And everyone's like, this is you, this is you. And it's just like me at the moment that I would just, at my like bohemian, wackiest looking with like greasy long hair.
Jerusalem Fever Malya.
Jerusalem Fever Malya. I'm wearing like a shirt underneath my long sleeve shirt so that the collarbone is like slightly covered, you know, like so that the shirt's like even higher than the first shirt.
A shell.
It's like, and then William found I'm like in some stock photo set, and the title of my photo is Woman Prays Rapturously at the Western Wall. So like that's me. So KK, I mean, and she had that experience, Tamar, in the book. So I was definitely, the Kotel was my main overcome with emotion place. The plane I don't identify with so much.
I'm sure it surprises no one that I have also cried in Israel. Wept. Just overcome with emotion and cried.
But that's happened, I think, probably in most places. So I don't know if that speaks to Israel or just you.
Okay, so she goes to Israel. She's so happy to be there, and she goes to Hebron, which again, I'd love to talk to KK about this particular choice. She meets this Chayal, this soldier, on the way to the bus. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, the quotes.
Yes, what is that?
There's quotes scattered throughout the book that are quotations from, I think, her like family and friends sharing their experiences about their times in Israel. That's how I read this. This to me was like, if she had posted on Facebook, like, hey, tell me about your, most special memories of Israel. And someone was like, the falafel at the gas station was the best falafel.
Yes.
One time, I met a girl on the bus. Then she invited me for Shabbos.
That's what Israel's like.
It was the best Shabbos I ever spent. Like those quotations were so funny to me. Also,
And they're
like,
all attributed to initials. It's like RK.
Yes, exactly. It's like if someone made that comment and then it was like, yeah, like the falafel was the best falafel. MK. It was very, very funny to me, but also a lot of them did ring true.
Yeah.
This one, like, have you heard? I've heard this 1,000 times. The snowstorm in Israel, it was crazy. Oh my God. Like, I'd been in Israel when there was an inch of snow and the whole place shut down, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. But this was a real snowstorm. Everyone was off from school and were just outside building snowmen and having snowball fights everywhere you went. YC. This did make me think, though, Malya, that this isn't just like a secret identity. If she's asking people for quotations,
right?
They know.
Good point.
Thanks.
Maybe it's just her family and friends. It's like her inner circle. And she never explains the device. Like I thought there'd be some unpacking of like what all this means, but no, then the book just ended. I was like, okay.
I know. I was laughing about those quotations. They really, really made me laugh. Okay, so obviously there's a lot here. She's really into this chayal, chatich, this hot soldier.
And I'll say she gets a little bit sexier we talked in the last episode about how there was like not so much erotica in the first Hanukkah erotica book selection. This one she got a little more, she was looking at him pulling off his sweatshirt, she saw some skin. There was a little more I don't know.
Okay, it's a little hotter.
A little hotter.
She brought the heat.
A bit.
She brought the heat for a Shomer Nagia seminary girl.
As much as one can.
Okay. Also, her and her friends like get into trouble, like they're mischievous, they're troublemakers. Can you tell me what kind of trouble seminary girls are getting into?
Yeah, it's like
Shomer
the
Nagia
lamest trouble ever. It's like, like messaging her like the curfew teacher to ask for like an extended curfew. Like that's probably, it's like they're out too late on Ben Yehuda, thank you, like singing karaoke with other seminary girls.
Giggling. I feel like there's a lot of giggling.
There's giggling. There's like, I don't know, if you're me and you were there circa 2001, like there's probably a Kylie Minogue song involved. And, it's just like, yeah, you're giggling and you're singing and you like, then you realize like 10 p.m. and you were supposed to be back by 9:30, so you message somebody and then you're like, we're so bad.
This is different than the freshman year I had.
I would think.
Yeah, this is different than the mischief of my freshman year.
Right. Yeah, the mischief is very like G-rated.
Yes, but they had fun.
It's good, clean fun.
What were some moments that really, spoke to you? I mean, when I say niche on niche, like I really did appreciate just how specific this was. The bus, the waiting for the bus station. I did really appreciate all of that.
Yes, I mean, I went to seminary in the old city. So her description of like the characters in the old city was spot on. Like, okay, what actually made me LOL, and I was reading this chapter of the book while I was putting one of my kids to sleep, so I like stifled my laugh, but was like, she's walking to the kotel, and at some point in the old city there's like two boys who seem to be writing a song, she says. And there's always some boy who's in yeshiva, like some 19-year-old boy who's strumming a guitar, who does not know how to play guitar. Like, he learned 3 chords watching a YouTube video, and now he's like, I'm going to sit out and the girls are going to flock to me and my songwriting. So it's like he's always playing the opening chord of a song, but it never turns into a song because he doesn't know how to play guitar.
Okay.
That is classic.
Hilarious, because Malya, I didn't highlight that many parts, but I did highlight that. This is what it says. There's some Aish guy taking a nap on one of the park benches and another 2 guys who seem to be trying to write a song. The second courtyard is empty, but the kotel is right there. And as much as I want to twirl in circles through the courtyard and pretend I'm the Orthodox Jewish version of the music video for Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me, I want to go to the kotel more. I was laughing so much at that too, because the Aish guy, like, the Aish guy is a guy who has basically gone to specific kind of school that caters towards secular Jews, but they want to make those secular Jews into frum Jews. That's the Aish guy. Aish guy napping on the bench really made me laugh. He was next to the guys trying to write a song. So you're right. She really is spot on in her descriptions here.
I feel like the napping is like a badge of honor. Like, I've been learning so much Torah, I've like collapsed in public.
It's really good. They talk about the shidduch crisis. I haven't heard about the shidduch crisis in a while. Is that
yes!
still a crisis?
They talk about it because they're like, they wanted to set me up with a guy who was 31. He's 13 years older than me. Can you believe it? Which is so funny because my husband's 13 years older than me. And when we first got together, we watched this video about the shidduch crisis, and it was all attributing it to men marrying much younger women, which I don't understand the math of at all, but okay.
You're contributing to the crisis?
We have, I think at this point we've contributed, yeah.
Wow.
I
watched that movie too, by the way.
You did?
There was a movie, a terrible movie about, what was it called? We'll have to look that up. I saw that, like a movie about the shidduch crisis.
But
Unattached?
Oh, I know. I don't think this was that. I don't know.
Okay, maybe something else.
The point is, the shidduch crisis is like the phenomenon of eligible women, I think, primarily not being able to find a suitable, eligible man, and so remaining tragically single. And there's always, in the Orthodox community specifically, where it's really catered, where, society is really built around marrying young. And for some reason, there's this theory that this is because men are not dating women their own age, but rather slightly younger women. I don't understand then why that all wouldn't just work out, because everyone's still, like, if there's roughly the same number of men and women, wouldn't it just, like, every group of women is just dating?
I don't know. Maybe
older,
it's like the pyramid. Maybe it's like a pyramid scheme of dating, and then on the down line, someone's getting screwed.
Someone's getting screwed, but
single
I don't really
girls my age, our age.
Right, single girls our age are getting screwed, but like then why weren't they just dating whoever was 5 years older than them back then? I don't know. I don't get it, really, but that was the theory. So if anyone understands that, I would love to hear about that in the comments.
Yeah,
comments. Let us know, like, what that's all about, because I really don't understand it. But yes,
I noticed that they were talking about the shidduch crisis in the book, and it made me think, is there still a shidduch? I just haven't heard about the shidduch crisis in a while. I don't know if that's because I'm not running in circles where they're talking about the shidduch crisis, or if the shidduch crisis is no longer a crisis. I personally haven't heard the term shidduch crisis in at least 10 years.
I haven't either. I hope they've resolved it.
I hope so too. So did you like this book?
I really did. I really liked the book. I think, I appreciated all the references. Again, I appreciated how she didn't feel the need to explain them. She just kind of built the world and let it speak for itself. It had a little romantic, like, by the time we got to the end where she had that sort of like, almost like so stereotypical, like, guy shows up at the door and is just like, sweeps her off her feet. I was like, I bought it. I liked it. I was glad they ended up together.
I was too. I actually kind of believed in their connection more than Shayna Adler and whatever his name was in the other one. I kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Avi and Tamar, like, they talked a lot.
They had more chemistry for sure.
They did have more chemistry. They talked a ton. They had a lot of connections. One thing, though, that really made me laugh, another part that I highlighted, there's a lot of terms that I like to bring up in my life that are terms that are actually Orthodox Jewish terms that people who grew up Orthodox think are regular English, but everyone in the rest of the world, they don't use these kinds of terms. Here's one. I'm sitting in the pizza store in Hebron eating lunch and chatting with a few seminary girls who are here for the day. Malya, pizza store is not, no one says pizza store except from people.
What would you say?
Pizzeria, pizza place.
Pizza store.
Pizza store.
Pizza store
is the frummest thing ever. I'm sitting in the pizza store in Hebron. Is very from weird sentence.
From sentence.
Hebron's a settlement? I don't even understand what Hebron is. They're settlers? They're settlers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, they're called settlers. Yeah, it's a settlement.
So she's sitting in the pizza store in Hebron. That's a very, very from thing to say because pizza store is not really English. I just want to
But also the thing is, it's a settlement that's in the middle of an Arab town. So like most settlements, they've blocked off an area where it's just Israelis. It's just the settlers. Here it's like settlers in the middle of non-settlers.
I was shocked. The part of the book that was not believable to me, that she was like, Hebron, best vacation ever. I mean, okay, Jerusalem, fine. Herzliya, Ra'anana, Eilat.
Totally.
Tel Aviv, obviously. I understand she wouldn't be interested in Tel Aviv, but I would die for a month in Tel Aviv.
Sure.
Hebron?
Beach. Right. Yeah,
Weird.
Although, again, and I'll say this for KK Hendin, consistent, I really liked the way that she portrayed the relationships that you have with your seminary roommates. Like, by the end of the year, those people are like, I mean, I'm sure it's probably like similar to whoever's in your like freshman dorm or whatever. It's like...
Yeah, Jamie, who told us that Suits was on USA, was with me freshman year.
Yeah, like those people at the end of the year are like your family. Like, they know you so well. You've like become... You know, you've entered the first phase of adulthood together. You're so close. And that feeling of like, she wishes she could be there, but she can't. And she's so jealous of her like cute little married friend with her tichel.
Yes, Salome. Is that how you pronounced that name?
Salome. That was how it was pronounced in my head, yeah.
Yes, me too.
You know, and the discussion about where to go to eat. This is back where the Talia Cook comment goes in. Like, they spent a lot of time deciding where to eat, milchig or fleishig.
I'm looking at that page right now, Malya.
Oh, wow.
You're reading my mind.
We're very in sync with Hanukkah erotica, Raizel.
I Googled it. Obviously, is there anywhere, Yoni would want to go? She's talking about Salome's husband. He's not picky, okay? Milk or meat. That also made me laugh because milk or meat...
Right. I mean,
it's not a cuisine. Like, people who keep kosher are like, oh, where do you want to go tonight? Milk or meat?
Right.
What?
It's not like
it's not like Thai,
right, like Thai or sushi or milk, right? Yeah.
Milk or meat, either pick. Well, it's Hanukkah, milk. Okay, it's Hanukkah milk. Is that because she wants sour cream with the latkes? Is that because why it's Hanukkah milk? I don't know.
Unclear.
Look at you making progress. Okay. Oh, do you want to go to the tofu place? Yoni eats tofu? I ask, puzzled. The whole thing about tofu.
It's also funny that there's a tofu place. Like, I don't know. Like, is tofu a kind of cuisine?
I don't know. I really don't. But it really he's not picky. Milk or meat really cracked me up. So I agree with you about KK Hendon's ability to build this world. By the time we get to Ben Yehuda, I remember I haven't really eaten much today. I'm more than happy to take advantage of all the tofu and salady goodness that's there. I appreciate picturing myself spending time on Ben Yehuda, the old city, crying in Israel. Even the way she described Tzfat.
Oh, yeah, like a city of hippies and blue doors.
Yes.
Which is true.
And candles. Like, it is true.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, I wanted to tell you this. I know we have to wrap up, but I wanted to tell you a couple things. One,
please.
KK Hendon's other books, other than the Girls in 5G series, are actually not Jewish in nature. Remember I told you I'd find that out? She has romances that take place in Texas, enemies to lovers romances. She has a bunch of other, Only the Good Die Young is one title. It doesn't seem to me that they're Jewish in nature at all, other than that Girls in Apartment 5G series, which I actually want to tell you about because I have an idea for us.
If KK Hendon is like some Texan goy, I am in awe of her ability to, I don't even know what, jump into this world. That's quite impressive.
Truly impossible. There's no way that she's not from. But Mal, her Instagram is empty. It's with 0 photos, and it says like "be back soon." I'm like, KK, are you okay? Why does it say "be back soon"? Where are you?
Yeah,
I want to know. I followed her on every account I have. I mean, there's just 2. My regular accounts and Hanukkah erotica. She's not active. It literally says "be back soon," so I'm concerned.
Seriously.
And I told you her website's defunct. I want to be in touch with her. Okay, but here's a plan I have for us, because the next book in the Girls in Apartment 5G series is called Dating the Other Daniel Cohen. I think it seems like there might be a Pesach storyline. I feel like we should read it in April. It's a sequel to I'll Be Home for Hanukkah. Can I read you the description?
Please.
Okay. In search of one imaginary boyfriend. After one disastrous date too many, Abby Horowitz would love nothing more than to swear off dating for the rest of the foreseeable future. As it is, she's too busy juggling a full-time job and law school to date anyone. Oh, there you go, Malya. Law
Love
school.
it. It's my life,
Unfortunately-
Rachel. It's every stage of my life. I can't believe it. Kate, I might be her, actually, in like a fugue state writing these books. All right.
Unfortunately, her mother has other plans. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and for Abby, that means inventing a fake boyfriend that she could date for the next few months before conveniently breaking up with him when her life isn't so hectic. There's no way that a plan this perfect will fail. In search of one imaginary girlfriend, when Abby tells her neighbor Daniel Cohen about her plans, he proposes an alternative. Use each other's very common Jewish names to create fake people to date for the next few months and go on pretend dates to strengthen their tenuous cover story. Dan's an accountant, muscling his way through the busy season and barely has time to breathe, let alone attempt to date anyone at all. Having a fake girlfriend will keep the phone calls from his mom to a minimum, and it's not like he doesn't already hang out with Abby all the time. It's a flawless plan. Nothing will ruin it. Not last-minute Pesach plans, not Jewish geography, and definitely not any unexpected feelings.
Wow. Amazing. I'm not going to be able to wait till Pesach. I don't know.
I might not be able to either, but I do feel like unexpected Pesach plans means they're going to be like thrown into a Pesach program together or something.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm excited.
They're like
I think that's our
counselors in
April.
Arizona or something.
Exactly. That's
Great.
our April read. All right, guys, let us know what you think. Hanukkah Erotica is brought to you by Hanukkah Pong.
Do we want to do our candle rating before we sign off? Rich?
Yeah, I'll tell you about Hanukkah Pong in a minute. Yeah,
Please.
Let's do our candle rating.
Okay.
What are we going to do?
Okay, so we are going to rate this book. How many candles out of 8? 8 being the highest. I'll go first. I'll give it a 6. Because
I was thinking 6 too.
it was
6.
fun. It held my interest. It had good references. A little bit of sexiness in a appropriate, believable way. I liked it. 6 out of 8.
I liked it too. Yeah, I would say I'm going to give it a 4.5 Hanukkah candles.
4.5 Hanukkahs, okay?
Yeah, 4. Because here's why I'm taking off points.
Okay.
She was there for Hanukkah. There was a sufganiyot or two. Sufganiyah or two. It's not very Hanukkah.
Good point. Light on the Hanukkah content.
Very light on the Hanukkah.
Good
she
call.
plopped her there
Right.
during Hanukkah to get the book in this anthology, but it wasn't really.
Right, it's a thin Hanukkah connection. Granted.
Totally.
Granted.
Totally. I loved it. I love her. I want to read more, and I'm excited to read the second book in the Girls in Apartment 5G. I really am. I think it sounds fun.
That's a great call. Okay, tell us about Hanukkah Pong. Yes.
Okay, so like I was saying, Hanukkah Erotica is brought to you by Hanukkah Pong. It is a game available on Amazon, menorah-shaped beer pong. Art for Hanukkah Erotica is by Galdor. Sound is by William Levin. We are Raizel and Malya. It's been so much fun talking about this book for episode 2.
Thanks,
Follow us on
Raizel.
Instagram. Thanks, Mal. Follow us on Instagram at Hanukkah Erotica Book Club. Good night, Mal.
Good night.